right there. Okay. So we found your happy spot, right? Okay. So thinking about it for just a moment, if I was going to do a strain counter strain, if I was going to do a positional release, where all I was going to do is reposition him to put this area in a position of ease, what might that look like? Yeah, exactly. Because what do the muscles in this area do?
Oh. Yeah.
They do this.
That would be a stretch.
Okay. All right.
You're fired.
So,
you were raving in there for a second.
all right. So I can see still. You see the dimples from where it's pressing. Okay, there we are. So here's an option. Go ahead, nice and loose, nice and loose. Okay, you get to make me do all the work for a change. I'm going to set my feet. Okay, and I'm just going to let my weight settle back. Okay, and let gravity do the work. Okay, what I'm pressing here now, is that still tender? Okay, so it can be just as simple as that. Okay, strain counter strain position release. That's cool stuff. Okay, it's very compatible with the stuff that we're talking about. There's, I don't have time to cover all that too. Good Lord knows. Okay. All right. So I'm going to come back out. I mean, you'll spend 2 days just on positioning for the spine.
I looked at their website and I was like, I did not know you could have that many classes.
Oh my God. But they are detailed. Right? I mean, like, so yes. So you will learn an enormous amount. Okay. So that's one simple option. I could just hand to his arm for a little bit. Typically, it's strain counter strain. They generally, 90 to 120 seconds, typically what they would recommend, but possibly longer. Okay. There are some things that seem like it might enable it to work with a shorter duration. I'm going to let you learn about that stuff if you take their seminars, because I am not strain counter strain certified, straight up. I have some training in it. I have enough to kind of know what I'm talking about, not enough to be certified, not enough to instruct it. So I use some of their material, but I'm not going to pretend it. So here we go. We've got this little guy up in yet. Not as bad as it was before, though, is it?
No.
Okay. No, done. Okay. But I'm going to use the example that I have up here. So it's, let me just kind of check around other areas of the pecs.
Up in there.
There's a little flinchy area right up in here.
Or over here.
Oh,
Yeah,
that far away.
That's it.
Okay. All right. So, again, if he and I had done a full intake, I would have taken a less random jog around here. I was kind of going for low-hanging fruit, because after a while, you kind of know where you're likely to find sore spots on people. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide in under his shoulder blade, kind of cupping his shoulder blade. You can feel how it's almost like I'm holding your shoulder blade in the palm of my hand. Okay. From here now, I'm going to allow myself to just kind of lean into that bottom arm. Notice my elbow's pretty straight. I don't have this bent. Okay. Why is my elbow pretty straight? Yeah. I've got the joints stacked, so as I lean into it, my weight of my body is transferred more efficiently in here, so that it can take so that it is more likely to be able to shift the scapula posteriorly, right? At the same time, I'm going to, his tender point was up in here. I'm going to gently be sliding the skin out here. Where did that Dyson go? Where did Seth's Dyson go?
I'll even prepare it for you. One moment.
That was yours, actually.
No, I think this one's mine.
That was yours.
You want this one?
You were playing mine. I don't care anymore.
Oh, good Lord.
We'll just share.
Well, you're going to have to watch it, aren't you?
I'm not a germaphobe. I don't give a damn.
All right.
Cooties.
So here's the deal.
That's how cooties happen.
So I've got his tender area right in here. I've got my Dyson. Again, this is much easier skin on skin. I'm going to slide the skin this way. At the same time, I'm going to slide the skin around his back. So it's like I'm going roll, roll. Okay. If it helps you to make the sound effect, go for it. Okay. Roll. Okay. And now when I press down in here, any tenderness?
Just a little bit.
Okay. So I might change my angle just a little bit. Instead of going straight out here towards the point of the shoulder, I'm going to try going just a little bit more straight lateral. Okay. Why? Because the first one isn't working right. Right? First one isn't getting what we want. I'm going to press here now. Anything?
Better.
Okay, better. All right. And what if he said worse?
You're fired.
I'd get the hell out of there,
Drag
right?
an elbow in there.
I might try going a different angle. I'm press here. How about now?
Good.
That's good. Okay. All right. So, you know, there can be more than one correct way to do it. Okay. We don't have to, you know, get too hung up on the exact right way. All right. So, taking that skin, wrapping it around towards his upper back. Would you hit the enter button for me, please? Okay. So another option, pectoral nerves. Okay. So very similar to what we were just doing sideline, but now our person's prone or maybe they're semi-reclined. Okay. So you can draw this out. Okay. Yeah, a little bit in there. Yeah. And if I come in behind there, yeah, a little bit more so anteriorly here. Okay. So what can I do? I've got his arm out here. His elbow seems fine with this position. It's more just when I poke in there. So again, I'm just going to drop a little dicem on there, or maybe if we just got skin-to-skin contact, I'm going to draw the skin out from that area. Okay. And maybe I'll just let my body come out. And I'm going to press here now. Anything?
Slightly better. Not a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Now, maybe I want to. Here's the area where it's tender. Now I'm going to anchor it here at a sternum. Is that okay there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now I'm going to draw this out. Okay. What's going to happen when I anchor it on either side?
Longer stretch. Skin stretch.
And I can increase the surface tension by a greater degree. I'm going to press here now. Anything?
It's good.
Okay. So sometimes just a really simple thing like that, anchoring on both sides rather than just on the one side. Okay. All right. What if he's got frozen shoulder, can't bring his elbow out this far? Oh. Elbow works pretty well. Another option. Okay. You hit the enter button again? Okay. So, and this brings us to what I call my fist and armpit technique. So, sometimes people have discomfort somewhere around the axilla. Maybe it's in the axilla itself. Maybe it's that posterior aspect of the scapula, maybe around like teres minor area. Okay, press down in there. Not too bad. Okay.
There.
A little bit there. Okay. So maybe he's tender there. Something else though, if you look at Seth's shoulders, not to pick on you at all, but like a lot of people, his shoulders are slightly rounded even though he's laying flat on the table. Okay? So how often do you see this in your table? Most of the time, right? A lot of people, their shoulders still a little bit forward. A little forward. So now if we take his shoulder totally out of any medial rotation, so it's totally flat. Okay, and then okay, let me back out. If I leave him where it's at, I test his medial rotation, that looks pretty good. Okay, rotation seems fine. But if I bring it back and I don't let it roll inwards, it's a little bit more limited. Now he does have a little stretchiness at the end, stretchy end feel. Okay, it's not like boom hitting rock. Okay. And there's a lot of debate about what different types of end feel mean. I'm not going to get into that. No. Okay, but what I do know is that he does not have free, open play all the way. Now, is he structurally unable to go any further? Maybe. Okay, but what structures? I don't know. Okay, if I bring his elbow out even further, now you can see that's even more dramatic. Okay, so this is one thing I tend to look at if a person's had a history of discomfort or tenderness around the chest, anterior shoulder, so forth. Is a lot of times if I notice that their shoulders are rolled a little bit forward, I'm going to see if I can get that back. I'm going to see if I can anchor it there, and then I'm going to look at and see how it actually moves and what does the end feel like. Okay, so here's where we're actually at. It's about 45 degrees. Ideally, how many degrees range of motion? Assuming a lot of things, but let's say what would be full normal range of motion in this medial rotation?
80.
Yeah, 80 to 90, depending on who you ask. Okay. So, are we going to change that right now? I don't know. Okay. But when I go check around this teres minor area, that's still a little tender in there. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is is this hand, I can still anchor this, but now I can use some other fingertips to kind of press into that monitor spot. It's still a little annoying, right? All right. So here's the deal, is that when I'm doing this, I kind of stumbled on this, and it worked for one person, and then I'm like, oh hell, so I kept trying it, and it works on a lot of people when I'm finding this kind of combination of stuff. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use soft fist. So see how they get kind of a nice big contact area there? Okay, I'm going to kind of scoop this in almost behind his axilla a little bit. Right where that tissue tends to, right where there tends to be kind of loose feeling tissue. Mm-hmm. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of scoop in behind that.
You're coming in behind it?
Yeah, I'm going to come in slightly behind that loose axillary tissue. And then from there, I'm just going to allow my arm to start to drop as my shoulder relaxes. And as that drops, my hand is going to lever like this. So what's going to happen? If I've got good contact with the skin, what's going to happen is as this drops, it's going to draw that up. Okay, so now gravity is doing most of the work in allowing us to apply most of that skin stretch.
And where's the monitor point?
Well, teres minor, and so I'm using in this case I'm using the tips of my middle finger and index finger, or middle finger and ring finger, to monitor that point, which still doesn't feel great when I go poking at it like that. You can see him purse his lips a little bit when I do that. So I'm going to allow myself to just allow that to drop. Okay, so I'm going to give this a few seconds. I mean, 5 to 10, right? I go pressing in there. Is that still tender?
Not as.
Yeah, slightly though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now, if I want to, I can lean in a little bit. What's that going to do? Dropping my elbow a little bit more. It's also levering my hand up slightly. So now, if you imagine from my soft fist is going to start doing a little bit of this. Okay, and I'm not doing it real dramatically. Again, I'm taking out the slack. Okay, I'm not looking to stretch the tissue. I'm just looking to take the slack out. And so as my fist comes up, sometimes you'll feel the skin kind of give, sometimes you lose your purchase just a little bit. It'll slip a little bit. It's okay, you don't have to back out and reset completely. Sometimes you just reestablish connection and then start to draw it up again. Because what you're looking for is the change of tension back there where your monitor point is, right? So I'm going to press in here now. Anything?
Feels pretty good now.
Okay. So what am I doing? I jammed my fist in his armpit. I leaned. How hard am I working? Okay. But think of the area that we're working with. All around the axilla. Could be. This can have nice impacts on teres minor, subscap, teres major. Sometimes people even notice things change with their delts, their biceps, their pecs. I'm not even quite sure how some people get some of those effects, but for whatever reason, it seems like sometimes we can get quite a lot out of it.
Part of the neck too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I can hang out there for a while. Okay, it's not stressful. Okay, so when I press in here now, is that still tender?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I'm going to keep this from rolling forward.
Wow.
So there's a little change. Okay, is that all the way down to the table? Not really, but he didn't require much wristband where he could actually touch the table. So we got probably another 10-20 degrees, depending on who's working the goniometer. Okay, I don't do goniometer measures. I'll just tell you that right now. But going from here to here, do I really need one? Okay. All right.
Really funny.
So